What's on TV tonight? Beatles 64, Kaleb Cooper's stage special, Senna, and more. Martin Scorsese produced this new documentary about the Beatles' trip to America in 1964. Pop a photo. Friday, November 29th. Beatles 64. Disney Plus. The Beatles' historic first trip to the US tends to be mythologized through scale. The masses of screaming teenagers. The multiple #1 hits. The record-breaking performance on The Ed Sullivan Show, watched by 73 million people. This sumptuous documentary, directed by David Tedeschi and produced by Martin Scorsese, uses rare behind-the-scenes footage to tell a more intimate story. Not only about the Beatles themselves, but a nation which, in 1964, mere months after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, was in desperate need of healing. The latter theme is explored through interviews with American musicians and fans, who share how Beatlemania affected almost every facet of U.S. culture. Their gushing admiration of African American music, for instance, was bold for its time, says Smokey Robinson, while their feminine, long hair shocked conservatives. It stands in stark contrast to the boys themselves. What is remarkable about the footage captured by Albert and David Maysles is just how ordinary they seem. In the words of George Harrison, "We were normal. The rest of the world was crazy." The World According to Kaleb. On tour. Amazon Prime Video. No-nonsense farmer Kaleb Cooper is the undeniable breakout star of Clarkson's Farm. Here, the rural half-wit, Jeremy Clarkson's words, not ours, takes to the stage in Cheltenham to talk about his love of tractors and why he can't stand sheep. There is lots of material about Clarkson himself, of course, but the highlight is the show's surprise musical finale. Senna. Netflix. Ayrton Senna was one of the great, undisputed masters of Formula One. This lavish six-part biopic charts Senna's, Gabriel Leone, rise from racing go-karts in Brazil to winning 3 F1 World Championships. A portrait of a genius, whose death in 1994 secured his legacy. Ren Fair. Sky Documentaries, 3 a.m. and 9 p.m. This delightfully odd three-parter explores the turbulent succession of George, the King Kulam, the retiring ruler of the Texas Renaissance Festival. 4 larger-than-life characters like Louis Migliocchio, a kettle corn magnate desperate to become the heir. He and his competitors are caught in a compelling Game of Thrones, Return to Paradise. BBC One, 8 p.m. The second week of the Australian Death in Paradise spin-off picks up with the poisoning of a wellness influencer. Even more curious, though, is the ominous message he left on Mackenzie's, Anna Sampson, phone hours before. The detective, pulled into another murder in her hometown, thankfully comes more to life tonight, the making of Do They Know It's Christmas? BBC 4, 9 p.m. Today's other big music documentary is this extraordinary fly-on-the-wall chronicle of the day that Band Aid recorded their 1984 charity hit. There is a thrill in watching Bono and Boy George work out their vocals in real time. The highlights, however, are the intimate moments, such as a shy George Michael talking about Wham's not-yet-released song, Last Christmas. Country Music Awards 2024. BBC 4, 10:15 p.m. The evening ends with highlights from last week's 58th Annual Country Music Awards, hosted by NFL legend Peyton Manning and country singers Luke Bryan and Lainey Wilson. Morgan Wallen has received the most nominations, but can he see off reigning champion Wilson? Nutcrackers, 2024. Disney Plus. It's almost December, which means it's perfectly acceptable to settle down on the sofa with a mug of hot chocolate and whack on your favorite fuzzy Christmas film. This new offering from David Gordon Green stars Ben Stiller as career-obsessed bachelor Mike, who's pulled from his big city bliss to the smelly farms of rural Ohio when he's forced to take care of his recently orphaned nephews. Cue lots of high jinks and self-discovery.